Let's go. So today we're going to see some different approaches, tooling and approaches you can use when doing SPFx development. Most probably, I will not manage everything on time, but then we will do a rain check afterwards. So we're going to see how we can compare tools that you can use in Terminal and SPFx Toolkit in VS Code and GitHub Copilot. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's move on. Come on, slide. Let's move on. The slide doesn't matter, this is me. Okay, and now the important slide. So we're going to compare Terminal to VS Code to GitHub Copilot, and we're going to compare 3 different areas. So how does those tools behave, what you can use when in terms of scaffolding, creating a new project, when it comes to dev work, so coding, what support is here, and then SharePoint management, because every kind of SPFx app sooner or later will require you to create some SharePoint-side or create a list for your solution or for content type, whatever. Okay, let's move on. So when it comes to Terminal and scaffolding, we are still stick with Yeoman SharePoint generator, and this is a solution that has been with us for a very, very long time. It's not okay, it does its purpose, and it's like the vanilla approach from the early days of SPFx. I really like it. There are a few problems with it. So the main problem is that it's a bit, it requires you to already have the knowledge up front. So you need to read the documentation up front. You need to know what is a web part, what is the extension, what is in library. You don't have those like guidance here. Also, you can, I think it's not possible to go a question back. Also, you don't know what will be the next question, what is the information required. So it's you're like in the midst of when you're doing the scaffolding of first time, when actually you will be on the step of, oh, the project actually created. Also, the help is not always up to date. So for example, we will check the help. There's no support for the ACES templates, I think so, most probably. And also, if you just want to skip npm install, then you need to run with already with the skip install before it goes with the other questions. So this is a very good scaffolding approach when it was created, but it could be improved, and that's why the community, let's say, stood up and improved it and moved this whole approach to VS Code. And in VS Code, we have a SPFx Toolkit. Let's say I would suggest a primary VS Code extension when it comes to SPFx development. And when you're not in the context of any SPFx project, we have this welcome experience, which, by the way, we are planning to rebuild, but similar. And first thing you can do is, for sure, creating a new project. So you can do it 2 ways, based from scratch, and then you have the scaffolding form over here. It's basically works the same way as the Yeoman generator. Actually, under the hood, it leverages the same technology. So this is like an UI layer for the SPFx Toolkit, for the Yeoman SharePoint generator. So you pick a folder, then you pick the name, it all validates. If there's a solution the same, it will tell us. Then we have also like those tooltip guidance. So if I have a web part here, we'll have those additional information what actually is a web part. If I would pick an extension, then it will give us guidance what actually is an extension, what you can build with it, and the form adapts accordingly. So if I will change the library, I only have to pick a name, then define extension. If I go back to extension, then I have to pick the extension type. And if I, for example, pick form customizer, I have to pick the framework, and so on and so forth. And then we have the final step, which is optional, where we can already say, that, okay, I just want to scaffold a new project. I don't want you to run the npm install, and we can install additional dependencies along the way, and those are adapted for the project type. So, for example, if you are scaffolding a web part, you have the install. You can optionally select to install React reusable property pane controls or React reusable controls or PMP.js. But those some of those don't make much sense for extensions. So, for example, if in the application customizer we don't show React reusable controls, but PMP.js or fast serve and so on and so forth. But for example, we suggest that you can also optionally install React, because many times the application customizer, some like in the header, a button in the header, then you show a model with some UI, and you want to use React anyway. So this is one option. Other option you have, you can create from a working solution, or let's say a template or some sample that is posted to the SPFx and web parts extension and ACES sample that were on this call presented already an update. As you can see, we have more than 460 samples. So this is a lot. You can filter them out by the SPFx version you are interested in. For example, I'm latest and I want something about modifying an image, and then I can already here directly view this sample, and if I'm satisfied with it and what are its capabilities, I can click use, and then we need to for sure select a folder, doesn't matter. I won't go over this step. But then we also pick a new name. So we are not on the SPFx Toolkit. It's not only downloading the sample and that's it, because this you could do manually, but also it renames the sample to make it your sample. So the name and the package solution.json and the project package.json will be renamed for this project. And the third option you have now when we would compare is, let's say, some kind of AI capability. So here I'm in an empty folder, and let's switch to GitHub Copilot. SPFx Toolkit comes along with SPFx Toolkit, SPFx chat participant. So this is only available when you're in ask mode. If you are in edit and agent mode, we come along with language models tools, which most probably, I'm almost sure now that I will not be managed to present them today, but next time for sure. But anyway, let's go back, and in ask mode, you can use the SPFx chat participant, and we cover a few of chat commands. One of those is new. And I've had some prompt ready, so you won't see me type, so I won't like make a mistake. So for example, I can here I can use AI to first explain me what kind of projects are possible to create. So you have this docs trimmed to the thing you are interested in, and you can read what project you are actually interested in. And let's say, whoop, I need something that will allow me to customize my list, and let's see what the SPFx Toolkit will suggest me. So we can create a field customizer or a list view command set. Okay, maybe, but I want something that will allow me to customize my form. Maybe my initial prompt wasn't that good. So actually I'm interested in something that will allow me to customize forms. Okay, and now I need to say, so just let's say pick some random names for me, and I want to use React for my project. Okay, cool. And as you can see, figure out the correct Yeoman command that needs to be run to create this kind of project, and already gave you an action. If I would click on it, it will run the Yeoman SharePoint generator command under the hood and scaffold the project. Let's close it, just to not waste time. Okay, so let's do a short recap. And when it comes to scaffolding in terminal, we are still stick with Yeoman SharePoint generator. When it comes to VS Code and GitHub Copilot in VS Code, we have SPFx Toolkit for the support, and in the UI layer we have the new form and sample gallery, and in GitHub Copilot we have the add SPFx new command, where you can talk, and this is, I think, a cool scenario, especially when you're beginning and doing your first steps in SPFx development, to chat with Copilot what will be the best project for your use case. Okay, let's move on. When it comes to dev work, what supports, what tooling we have from in terminal. So for sure, we are going to use Gulp for at least as of for the 1.21.1 and lower versions, and later on maybe we'll use Heft only. But basically, Gulp, which is Microsoft supported tooling for SPFx development, and we can for sure also use PMP, the CLI for Microsoft 365. There are many other open source products that we can for sure use in a terminal, but I will be suggesting those that are maintained by the PMP core team and the PMP community itself. So one of those tooling is CLI for Microsoft 365, would give you a couple of commands that cover typical use case for your SPFx project. So here I'm in the context of my project, and if I would type M365 SPFx, we'll see a couple of commands this tool supports. So even, let's say, in the context of the project, so SPFx project. And let's see what actually, so it's possible to create a CI/CD pipeline for Azure DevOps, for GitHub to manage your permissions. Doctor is like a validate command that will validate if the npm packages in the package.json are the correct version for this version of SPFx. You can rename, for example, your solution. So let's say I want to rename my solution to something new. I generate a new ID for my project as well. So let's say I downloaded a sample and I want to rename it. A typical use case. And as you can see, CLI does all this job for us, and it renamed everything everywhere. It found the old name to the new name, and also created a new ID for our project. Okay, let's revert those changes. So this is one approach you can for sure use. The other approach you can use is, of course, again, SPFx Toolkit. So I have this pane already here, but this is like movable. It can be here part of a SPFx Toolkit view, or you can move it. So I usually move the task and actions in the context of the Explorer. So I see together with my files. Okay, it doesn't matter. And SPFx Toolkit already. So again, if I wanted to create, if I want to create a package I want to publish to SharePoint Online, I need to create a bundle and then the package. So 2 times I run the gulp command in the terminal. And all of the gulp commands, you have to remember them, type them without mistake. All of the gulp commands we have here in SPFx Toolkit just like that. We also have some additional like quick steps like publish, which is a combination, let's publish to production, which will be a combination of bundle and package solution. So all done this for us. Okay. Besides that, we have some actions which are boosters for your SPFx project. We have some that are really similar. So actually they use CLI from Microsoft 365 under the hood, like the upgrade or validate. This will also generate the same report if it would be generated if we run the CLI command, but just we don't need to understand or have the skills of using CLI. So the project is valid. We also have the rename, which we use works the same. The CLI for Microsoft 365 scaffolding CI/CD pipelines commands are quite advanced. So here, for example, we give you an additional UI layer, like additional form, which you can select if you want to select create a pipeline for GitHub or for workflow for Azure DevOps, and just type a name. And along the way, we can even, if I would be logged in, create a certificate and an app for this flow. And also we have some additional steps which are not covered by CLI, like, for example, the increased project version. So we are, maybe most of you or some of you, or maybe it's only me, this version held between package solution.json and the package.json, that these versions don't match, and we do a mismatch and which version is correct, and then we are lost. So SPFx Toolkit gives you an increased project version. You can select if it's minor or major, and it will align always. So 3.0 in both of those. And now if, for example, I want to just update the patch version and 3.0.1 in both of those. So some additional actions which are not available in CLI as well. When it comes to AI, so we are planning to enhance this, but in the future we'll for sure we're already working on some tools in agent mode, which is more convenient when it comes of creating code. Okay, I even forgot, but I don't have a lot of time. But one last thing I want to show from the SPFx Toolkit side before I'll be wrapping up is that SPFx Toolkit also comes up with coding snippets. So so these are like templates, coding templates you can use in your project. So let's say I wanted to create something for the component in mount, and then I want to create, let's say, HTTP template request just to get something from my SharePoint list. So as you can see, I don't need to remember it. I don't need to type it. We have a lot of coding snippets that are less really shortcuts for scaffolding smaller blocks of code and developing your code quicker. And when it comes to AI, here we are still in the ask mode and still in the chat participant. So back when we created this code command, with the agent mode wasn't there yet. So this is considered still beta. We rather are thinking to drop this chat command, and we'll be transferring to agent mode language model tools. But till now, this is, let's say, you're either stick with just default Copilot features, and you will be more prompting about like general React questions, or you can use the SPFx code, which is grounded for SPFx project, but the results are not that good still. And still you are covered when asked. So it's only like ask and answers, and you can need to copy and adapt it anyway to your code. And it also from the chat gives you those additional actions like validate or rename already here. So if you are more stick to this UI, you can use it as well, but for sure, stay tuned for more. So when it comes to SPFx Toolkit in VS Code, we have also upgrade validators, similar actions like in the CLI, but we have even more like granting permissions, coding snippets, and so on and so forth. In the Copilot, you're either stick with default Copilot behavior, or you can use our beta code, but we will be moving out of it, and we are already rebuilding it to language model tools. And since I don't have more time, in next session, I will be showing the third row, which is about SharePoint management. And the small teaser here will, of course, can use CLI from Microsoft 365 again. There's like around 370 commands to manage different areas of SharePoint Online. Of course, we can also use PnP PowerShell. And VS Code, SPFx Toolkit, it's also possible to leverage some managed capabilities, but it's only focused about managing apps, because SPFx Toolkit is about creating SPFx apps. So we're not creating a tool that will allow you to manage SharePoint in general, but covers developer-specific scenarios. So managing apps is one of them, setting for customizer another one. And when it comes to GitHub Copilot, we have another chat participant command. Will give you can have more than 100 skills to ask more than different questions about things you want to ask about your tenant to retrieve and add additional context to your project. And we have language models tools, which those basically are tools that allow you to create something, and this I will be presenting next time. So I hope I got you interested, and you will join me next time. Until then, so this is what's covered by the SPFx Toolkit, doesn't matter. Till then, I hope they liked my demo. Thank you very much, and you rock all, and happy coding. Back to you, Hugo.